a man, a man, a man's ability to extract his life's purpose for the most part before he gets into relationships is going to make him a little bit more official in relationships. Don't make you perfect, but it's going to make you a little bit more efficient when it comes to that stuff. So, if the relationship takes twists and turns, which relationships always do, you realize that she ain't doing this, or you realize that maybe it's going to go left. Maybe what you were expecting, even what she said she wanted to do and wanted to be a part, maybe she's not going to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like your ability, sometimes when it goes left on you, it's always definitely, you know what I'm saying? Always definitely a good thing to actually drive you further back into your purpose works, the things that you need to do for yourself, so that way you can literally take your mind off this excessive pursuit of relationships that is pretty common, man. The average guy, the average male, the average person out here, like they're gonna put a lot of effort into relationships, and they'll think to themselves, I could be with her and I can find my purpose at the same time. I know it sounds very feasible to a lot of people. You get what I'm saying? I think for a lot of folks, they consider that's easy peasy. I used to go to school and have a girlfriend at the same time, but school, if we all know what school is at this point right now, like you should be able to go to work, go to school, you go to have a girlfriend, have three girlfriends, and go to school at the same time. Like that's nothing. Following your life's purpose, knowing what it is, and in that process, trust me, like if you don't know what it is for the most part, if you are at a space in your life where it's not clear to you, jumping in relationships or even trying to lead relationships, or I mean, it's a high stakes business that may not work. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Kendrick, man? How you doing, bro? Peace to you as well. Welcome, Chanel Soul Queens. You know what I'm saying? Elite Expo. Movements, health, and fitness. Shout outs to you guys for joining me tonight on the live. You can also join me on the Zoom and in a link in my bio if you wanted to talk or had any questions, but you can also type them on Instagram right quick. I was talking earlier about some of the distractions that we get in the form of social media, in the form of news, in the form of, chasing waterfalls, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? And not really being focused on your life's purpose, or even the daily things that matter. You know what I'm saying? There's sometimes in your life where you could sit and do nothing all day. And there are other times where you could do just one thing that moves you closer, one thing that, inspires you or motivates you, one thing that gets you closer to that goal or that vision that you have. And even if it's just one thing that you get done in that one particular day, like the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of pride, the feeling of, damn, I fucking did this, it's enough to keep you moving. You get what I'm saying? So it's like with mad distractions that we have out here, it doesn't really matter how many times I say this, man, it's always going to be real that everybody wants your attention. Everybody wants a slice of it. And nowadays, like, that's all we're used to. We're used to giving our attention out in slices like fucking pizza. You get what I'm saying? You get a little bit, this gets a little bit, 30 seconds here. You start to watch something, don't finish it. You know what I mean? Start to read something, don't finish it. Start to listen, don't take notes. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the play. They got us where they want us because we got internet ADD. Our attention spans are literally like all over the place. So like to really focus on what it is that you're supposed to be doing, to really focus on your life's purpose, to really, really get into that consistently, that's where the challenge is. That's where the challenge is because, some of us came here. I'm not saying everybody has the same purpose because we know that we don't. And that's what I try to help a lot of men with whenever it comes to the work that we do with the metaphysical coaching, you know what I'm saying, the cosmology coaching that I do. is really to help you pinpoint your purpose as accurately as you possibly can. Because, and you know, as a matter of fact, it's not accuracy I'm dealing with when we're doing this stuff. Actually, it's more like precision. Accuracy is, you know, being in the ballpark. Precision is literally hitting the target. You know what I'm saying? We're going to hit the target with certain metaphysical sciences that you know, our ancestors definitely once used. You feel what I'm saying? And we gotta be able to do, you know, we gotta be able to get back to this kind of knowledge. Peace, Joel, for joining on the Zoom side. You know, we gotta get back to this for the purpose of knowing ourselves, for the purpose of understanding ourselves. And you know, there are definitely different outlets of which you can use. I recommend, but my coaching sessions based on the human design system. I'm telling you guys, man, it's a game changer if you're questioning some of the things. And I'm telling you, it becomes more of a game changer the more you are committed to it. Because it's kind of like, you know, a person who goes to med school and goes through all of the different rigors of being a doctor or what have you, you know, they'll do that just as much for the money and the status and these other things as they'll do it to help people. And the bottom line is you're going to respect them for having gone through that and extracted whatever they have to get out of that program. So it's the same when you really find yourself on some higher level. You get what I'm saying? You go towards it consistently to the point where you're like, all right, you know, I know what I'm trying to get out of this. What's going on, Lorenzo? It's overwhelming of knowing where to start. It's a clusterfuck of information out here. Like, definitely, bro. I mean, a straight up clusterfuck. That's it's almost no other way to do it, because you could be in a situation where you think something is a good use of your time, and then when you realize who you are, the more you realize who you are, you realize, damn, this person or this relationship is not is not here to help me get to the next level. Maybe I'm here to help that person get to the next level. Maybe they're going to learn something. Maybe I'm learning something in that moment. But when I consider where I'm going to be, how I'm going to continue doing me, how I'm going to continue evolving, how I'm going to continue growing in a particular path that I've chosen, like, you really, really got to consider that the person in your life has to like have a positive like impact on that growth. It's not like they you want them pulling you back away from it. You get what I'm saying? You say right here, you'll block your opportunity to become a better man if you consistently view yourself through the eyes of someone whose love for you is tainted by hurt and pain. Yep, and that's, somebody just put that right there. Peace, Joel, for that. You know, that's what I put in my book right there as well too. And I think that that's a key statement right there. You know what I'm saying? You'll never really be able to view yourself or even go to the next level of your growth, your dream, your higher level of self, if the person with you is not, it don't see you in that light. And I don't care what anybody says, like, you could try to overcome this as much as you can. And this is a part, you know, because purpose is visionary to a certain degree, meaning that your woman, the way you see your purpose evolving, your woman has to be able to see that too. You get what I'm saying? And if she sees it through a different lens than you do, and it's, you know, it's a lens that really doesn't get you there. It's a lens that, you know, she puts an asterisk, you know, on there or somewhere, like, you're going to have a problem. You know, you're also going to have a problem as a man if she's competitive with you on where you want to be or whatever position you're trying to reach for yourself in life. You don't really want that. But that's the same thing. Men do that to women sometimes because they're insecure with where they are. And it takes a hell of a man to understand that a woman does, you know, especially in many cases, if she's whatever years old and you done met her at a certain point in her life, she perhaps has a purpose that has nothing to do with you. Now, her ability to, you know, to serve her purpose with you now is something different, because you could be serving your purpose as you're supposed to, and, you know, her ability to be able to serve or help, to serve her own purpose within your lifestyle or within your leadership or whatever the case is, that's major because, many of us are not meeting women who are prepared for marriage or this is all they wanted to do or wanted to have babies. And, like that's not what we're meeting most women on. We're meeting most women who are set on a particular path for their lives in a particular way. And just like you as a man, you know what I'm saying? Need to get me some water. Yep, you're right, bro. You can try so hard to overcome that process and you will burn out. And I feel like burnout is definitely something that happens to most men before we even get focused on the right kind of energy way to burn our energy. So like you find yourself burned out from trying to be somebody or live up to the standards of somebody else or other people. You get what I'm saying? And it doesn't work. You find yourself burned out at a certain age and you're trying to figure out how in the hell did I even, like, how did this happen? Like, how did I find myself in this relationship? Like, how did it get this far? And it's like stuff that that I knew I shouldn't have done, basically. You get what I'm saying? But nonetheless, you got caught up in it the whole entire time. So, it's a lot to learn because like when you are really serving your life's purpose, you know what I'm saying, and doing things the way you're supposed to do it, and you'll get rewards. You know what I'm saying? It'll feel a lot better. Not saying that you won't go through your obstacles along your life's purpose. Okay, I see all my people joining me now. What's going on, everybody who just joining me on the Zoom side? I'm gonna unmute pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all got any questions, be sure to load them up. We're gonna go through it. Or anything, whatever. But I'm also live on Instagram. So if y'all are watching out there, you know what I'm saying, you can get with me on there. Peace to everybody. So yeah, before I get into, the questions and having other people on the line, is just at the end of the day, one of the things that I want to always be like mindful of is just being thankful, throughout everything that happens in life. You get the opportunity to wake up and go towards your life's purpose. Like if you have that kind of mental clarity, if you have it, like you got to understand how fortunate you are. Like you get another opportunity to wake up and go towards it. Like, and that's how I feel every day. Like, not every time I get up to do something or get up with a plan, that particular plan gets done like every single day, or the details get done every single day. But it's like, if it's the same goal that's adding up to the same thing, you get another opportunity versus some people who are going to wake up very, very confused, to go somewhere, to work for somebody, to not have any dreams or aspirations of their own other than to receive their paycheck whenever the paycheck time comes. And some folks are going to be a little bit more okay with that depending on what their life's purpose is, but everybody doesn't really necessarily have, the same purpose, and it doesn't manifest the same way. And that's what most of the coaching sessions that I'm doing, with the people, just to help them clarify, you got to understand that what's for you is more than likely only for you. Like it's literally only for you. But you're not really going to get it at a high level if you don't understand yourself. You don't understand how to receive it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who are playing the right game, but are just playing the wrong position. And all you got to do is switch over one position, two positions, or what have you, and boom, everything opens up for you. But one of the things like I led with when I began was, the amount of distractions that we have in our lives, and, they're here to stop us from being focused on what we're supposed to be. And I wrote a whole entire book about this whole process for men, and to actually help us stay focused in it, because like for under 40 men, let's just be real, you know that we've spent a lot of damn time, years chasing after women. Let's just be real. We've spent years retrofitting ourselves, trying to appear good for women, trying to pique the interest of women, trying to be a better this and a better that for the sake of attracting women. We've spent way more years on this than we've spent on a lot of different things. The only thing that really rivals that is school, because perhaps you were K through 12 and probably some college education. So about 16 to 20 years of school. If you're 40, that's 16 to 20 years of school, and another 20 years of mating, looking for women, looking for opportunities. Like that's a big part of our lives. So to be able to be reminded, especially if you've made a lot of mistakes, like myself, that your purpose is waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? Your ability to tap into who you are supposed to be is waiting on you. You get what I'm saying? And even if you get back in touch with aspects of yourself that probably remind you of your childhood, your inner child to a certain degree, things that you naturally or easily did as a child, but due to the conditioning that you've had from other people, you now you don't be it. You don't be it anymore. So now when you start finding your purpose and understanding your purpose, you might reconnect with some of these things that have been laying dormant inside you, so to speak, but not gone. It was never ever gone. It was talking to you perhaps at a younger age. People suppressed it. People convinced you otherwise. You didn't see other people who were just like you, who understood you like that. It takes so many different years. And, it's so funny because in the coaching that I do, sometimes it'll show you, energetically speaking, what's going on, what kind of thoughts run through your head based on the energies that's in your chart. You know what I'm saying? If it's highly mental, if it's highly emotional, if it's self-projected, if it's outwardly projected, sometimes people don't understand why they do things. And when other people have a problem with the real you, sometimes you question yourself. And that's the enemy right there. It's just another form of distraction. And, we kind of got to get out of that. Like, we got to get out of that. And as men, I'm not saying that we solve every single problem in this world. But, the last few posts, as you can see on my IG that I've been talking about, especially that one about who a woman belongs to, so to speak, like that idea of a woman belonging to you as a man is, like I said in the post, is like she don't belong to you anymore than she belonged to her job, her purpose, her mission, her education, her lifestyle, how she grew up. And men who are not free to be themselves, free to govern themselves, free to provide for themselves, are often so concerned about what women do when we ourselves are not free. So it's like, women in some cases are just like us. And I said this in a post recently as well too. It's like we talking all this stuff about modern women this and modern women that. As men, we got to understand how freaking modern we are. Like, modern woman is a byproduct of modern men all the way. And anytime modern man wants to be free, yeah, shit, there might be a lot of women who want to stay in that modern life and may not join you, but I guarantee you there are enough that will. But they won't belong to you as a family, as a unit, you know what I'm saying, as a tribe, until you are free. Because other than that, you know what I'm saying, the saying is you can't serve two masters. And that's what, for the most part in our community, we try to do all the time. You get what I'm saying? And it just doesn't work. So, we've seen it fail in many different ways, and we've seen it succeed through all the struggles. You get what I'm saying? We've seen it. We've seen it all. So it's like, it's not a fixed kind of thing for everybody. You get what I'm saying? Things work out different ways. What you say now, just to touch on this moment, run is that women often seem to test men's capacity to remain unperturbed in his truth and purpose. Men have to know if they're carrying feminine trait more than masculine trait or just the opposite. The book, The Way of the Superior Man, for sure. And like I spoke about this before because I get a lot of people who present that. And The Way of the Superior Man is an excellent book for me, has been an excellent book for me in the sense of understanding my masculine essence, that there's so much about masculinity that embodies femininity. Like there's a masculine version of nurturing and caring and loving and affection that is just as powerful as the way we associate it with feminine. So like, the inner work that David Deida talks about in his book, and, even as a man, being able to consciously come to that space where you understand when like there's energies talking right now, there's energies governing the responses that two people are getting. Like, there's not necessarily the words or what have you, but there's the dominant energy. And then now you got to learn how to play the game. You get what I'm saying? Like he talks about in the book. So, it's also very similar to the ego game that Eckhart Tolle talks about in The Power of Now, like learning how to withdraw your ego in the presence of another ego. So that way, two people are not playing that game. But, when it comes down to the bare minimal or the basics of polarity, as he talks about, you talk about in The Way of the Superior Man, I feel as if it's a dance that is not necessarily the same as it used to be, because our women, because of where we are as modern men, our women are in a position where long before you meet her, she's been geared or pushed towards her masculine essence. Even if she had a father coming up or whatever the case, if she was going to go outside and be in certain places, depending on where she comes from, she's going to have to learn how to fend for herself, almost like a man would. So there's so many different scenarios and situations of which our modern women these days, especially Black and brown women, they got fucking life a lot harder than everybody else in some cases. So being able to have the senses of a man when she needs it, like sometimes is the difference between something bad happening to her, you know what I'm saying, and something, and her being able to make it home safely. Like these things have certainly affected the yin and the yang that you see in men and women. So like our ability as men, like it's like it's so hard these days for men to understand that it's the whole entire environment that we're looking to change. It's the base and the foundation that we're looking to change in order to, to free ourselves, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't be like, we are literally like, there's people in your family in some cases who were born and never saw freedom, were never treated right. Like we're a drop in the bucket for the most part. You know what I'm saying? We really think we're doing something, we not, for the most part. So I get all the differences that modern woman has these days. I get it. I'm well aware that they ain't this or they ain't that. But I like to also talk about the fact that if you do your history, right, just in the Western Hemisphere, before like the 1900s, women worked. Motherfuckers don't know that shit. Women always worked. So this whole 1950s concept of a woman that a lot of guys want women to go back to being, that was just some made up shit that's really new as well too. Women worked. So, but the difference was, this is the main difference, who they worked for. See, now, this is probably information that's very sensitive based on things that were happening in the country, but almost every country that in the Western Hemisphere was going through similar things as America. And so when you're talking about after so-called emancipation of slaves or what have you, like the history shows that people were building their own communities, and they were more so building their own what you call businesses, but their businesses provided on a large scale. So a man and a woman would definitely work in the same field. Like kids will be there. It'll be the same thing, except for they're working for their benefit. You get what I'm saying? Now the turn of the century came, and the big boys who were already manipulating the things for the emancipation of slavery. If you look it up in the old dictionary or the proper dictionary, emancipation means to transfer ownership. So that's where, within the next 40 years to the 1900s, that's where the game started to change a little bit. But the bottom line is, men were being exploited for their labor, because at one point you could have done the shit by yourself and you didn't need nobody else. So like if you had to go out into the so-called Wild Wild West, the frontiers, carve out your own piece of land, do what you needed to do. Whatever woman that was with you, she was with you for real, because in those days, she wasn't gonna survive on her own. You get what I'm saying? So like men don't really understand how the game has changed, because the game has changed over so many different times in regards to what our role is. But this modern version that we are these days, this dude he lives in Walmart. You get what I'm saying? Like, he can't purify his own water. He can't exist for the most part without the power company. There are just so many different things. He doesn't have books. Everything's on the fucking computer or the phone. So like, this is the version of masculinity that we're trying to transcend through. You get what I'm saying? This is the version of masculinity, for the most part, that has brought us what a lot of dudes on the internet are complaining about modern women about. Like, if we don't take no ownership, listen, I do understand as a Black man what we've been through for the last few hundred years. I certainly understand, but it doesn't mean that I pine over what I've been through. I'm focused on the solutions. And so a lot of men, the focus on women, it's nice. Yeah, we want to get that shit back popping and where it needs to be, or whatever the case is. But like, the focus should certainly be on our freedoms. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, for the most part, and being accountable, like you're saying, Joel, being accountable for your own freedom, for your own ability to come out of wherever you've been placed, because now you have history. Not history. History is the stuff that's convoluted, but it's more like the records of the past. You got records of the past of your existence being free. You got records, even for us over here in the Western Hemisphere, who claim to be from slaves entirely. Most of us can trace much indigenous history to us, where some of our people were free people. Many of us. So like, we got to get this mentality out of our head and get more into the self-governance aspect. And this is where other people have excelled, that we, especially Black and brown men, haven't. Really being self-sustainable, because technology ain't going backwards. So we're going to have to be able to use all that we've got, whatever it is, phones, cameras, this, that, and that, but you're going to have to learn how to use it in a way that doesn't compromise your security, your freedom, your safety, and various other things. Because like, we, in many cases, are acting like these laws and these mandates that are being forced upon us, that's shit that's being forced upon you. Like, you wouldn't want anybody to be forcing anything upon you, but nonetheless, you're like, oh, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's gonna be a time. No, there's only going to be a time whether you resist it and stand up for what it is that you want, because that's the only way. That's the only way. That's the only way for men who are having this constant conversation about why women do this and why women do that. Listen, I done heard all the facts. You could throw the mud in both directions, but who cares? Like, the only solution to their loyalty is your freedom. You be free, and trust me, somebody's gonna be loyal to you. because you can make them free, but they first got to understand what freedom is. So that's the difference. So if she's not truly trying to be free from the oppressive regime that she works for, you know what I'm saying? The distractions that keeps her from being committed to the same thing as you, the distractions that keep her from being committed to a family. Like, there's so many different levels of freedom that I feel like it's pretty much the man's role to put himself in a position of first, and then allow for the women to respond. But my thing also will continue to be like, a lot of cats out there, somebody commented on my post the other day, and he was like, you got to hold women accountable. Listen, you try that and tell me how successful that shit's gonna be. Get what I'm saying? You can hope to hold your woman accountable. You know what I'm saying? You can hope to hold your woman accountable. And if you could successfully do that, then you make it some stride. But this world of women in the last 2 generations, after what they've been through in the last 2 generations, please. Sure, we're gonna tell the truth. And I don't feel as if telling the truth is holding people accountable. Truth is truth. Some people gonna vibe with it, and some people gonna, you know what I'm saying, reject it. Telling the truth is it, but the way that we're articulating the truth these days, I think that's what's the difference. You get what I'm saying? The ability to articulate what you see happening to you, within the confines of like relationships. Like, yeah, we men have been set up to take the raw deal of a situation, with the only reward that we've been getting from the whole situation for the last 40, 50 years is more sex. And more sex has led to absolutely nothing. Not better relationships, not better families, not better anything. More sex has done nothing but polluted everything, and led to less marriage, less family. So the idea that men are having more sex these days than they were 40, 50, 60, 100 years ago, like, I don't know what that's benefited. I really don't. But it's true though. You know what I'm saying? We're getting a lot more sex, but we're not getting better family structures. We're not getting better any of these things. By no means are we. However, the thing about it is like, as men who are looking for like themselves, right? I get that you got to go through this process of finding yourself and understanding your role in it, understanding what you are committed to, what action you're committed to. The difference with us these days and certain people, certain revolutionary people, so to speak, who may not have agreed with each other, may not stood on the same side of the fence, but had something in common. And you see, that's the thing that a lot of men these days, that's where we lack. We don't have enough things that value, that matter to us, like on a high level, that we share in common with a lot of men. So yeah, you grew up with these dudes for sure. I went to the same school or whatever the case is, but your values are now in different places. You hang out, stay in touch with each other because you want to say you've had these relationships for a long time. It looks good upon you, but you're growing in different directions. So, you have people who came together, create countries, municipalities, various other estates, you know what I'm saying, that are still here because they had 1 or 2 things in common and chose to work together. So like, that's the difference these days. We're so distracted. Our minds are so like divvied out to so many different entities that the men within themselves, we can't find enough men that are just like us who are willing to die for the same things. And that's facts. You get what I'm saying? So like, by default, you get to see that a lot of us, we're just like, pings in the system. We're just keeping the same broken, dysfunctional systematic thing going by staying at that job, by not jumping out at what you're supposed to be doing, by not, making that commitment, by half-assing what is the best thing to do. You know what the best thing is to do. But you're caught up in a cycle because this cycle is older than you. This is what you got to do to look responsible. This is what you got to do to be viewed good by people. This is what you got to do to be respected. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody to think that you ain't this and you ain't that. Like this, there's so much social pressure, validation that comes with masculinity, and none of that, for the most part, none of it has to do with what's your life's purpose. You get what I'm saying? None of it really has to do with what's your life's purpose. As usual, guys, if y'all appreciate the content, show some love on the Cash App, I am Nakada, or on the PayPal as well, heartandbreak@gmail.com. And as I've said before, if you've read my book, one of the best ways to support your boy is to leave a review of it on Amazon. So if you can, go ahead and do that. And if you haven't read it, go ahead and pick up a copy for yourself. I do coaching, as you guys may know, and you can get all that information in my bio on Instagram or on heartonbreak.com. This metaphysical coaching and higher understanding of yourself. I talk this stuff to men on a high level for men to understand, for the most part, like it's just you. You know what I'm saying? It really is just you working with you, trying to get past these versions of yourself so that way you can be, the version of yourself that's light. You get what I'm saying? That's clear. That's not filled with other people's trauma. That's not filled with sexual trauma. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I get it. If anybody's read the book, what is it called? The body feels the pain, but or body knows. I forgot, but it's talking about for sure, bro. Definitely reach out for me, man. I'm always doing sales on the coaching calls as well too. It's definitely the game changer. All you got to do is know your birth date, time. You know what I'm saying? The time or the range of time is good. And guys, you can also run your charts for free at jovianarchive.com. Just it'll give you some basic information, and then we can run a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, being able to unlock like this aspect of yourself into really, find yourself in a community or support area where, you know what I'm saying, you can continue to do that. That's important as well. And also, guys, I don't know if I told you, but I got a sexual health and hormone class coming up for men. So like, look out for more information about that. And I also got the CMOS, guys. I don't know if I've been talking about the CMOS enough. I haven't. I know I haven't, but I got purple CMOS. This is coming from Jamaica. Like it's in the bio, the link in the bio as well, and available on my website if you wanted to get. This is that premium stuff. Some people will use this, covers for some real strong health issues. This is the stuff that's good for the pulmonary system as well. It's a detoxing agent. It's one of the best strains, and it comes from some clean water. So y'all got to hit me up for some CMOS. A lot of people have been asking me what I use. I do use CMOS, even though I haven't made some in a while. But yeah, I'm about to open up the line, guys, for everybody in the back end. IG, man, I see y'all out there. Y'all can get on the call if y'all want to. I don't know how much longer we're going to be on here, but let's see if anybody had any questions on the inside. You know what I'm saying? I see I got you on there, Alcia, Joel, Lloyd, Sevron, Tiffany, all the folks on this other side. If you got any questions, you can unmute yourself and we could talk. What's going on with you, Lloyd? Sevron, what's good with your boss?
What's going on with your big dogs, Joel?
Joel, what's good, Joel?
Not much, man.
How you been, man?
I've been pretty good. Your book is the number one pick of the year in my book section, man.
Man, I appreciate that, bro.
But question though. So as we talk about the book overall, what do you have to say to a lot of men that's just trying to find their purpose, like deeply find it? Because that problem is for me right now is just I know my purpose, but I don't know how to actually just fulfill that purpose. And like you talk about all the distractions and stuff, but I still find myself distracted with a situation I'm dealing with right now. And it's like, I'd rather focus on what I need to do for myself and then worry about that later, because it's, what I'm saying, I'm not going to keep going on, because I read the book really helped. But what I'm saying, like you said in the book, it's like focus on your purpose first. So then when you're done doing what you're doing, you're able to give that time to whatever foundation that you're trying to build with your significant other. So how would you give some feedback to that type of field right there?
I think it depends on a couple things, bro. Actually, I think it depends on what the distractions are. Like, do the distractions involve children? Because when I was going on this path, when I wrote my book, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I couldn't write on the book until my kids were asleep. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes I didn't have any help. And so, like, I would always be talking about taking a break, but I couldn't take a break from them. You know what I'm saying? Not at that time. And so, you know, I think it matters that you have the ability to create distance. You know what I'm saying? Like create distance between yourself and others. So especially if you already have a great idea of what you should be working on. So once you create that distance, like the distance become a discipline, so to speak. So it's almost like there has to be times, there has to be a certain level of order, and people have to kind of respect the process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if because the distractions, they're here to stay, bro.
Yeah, man. That's why I reached out. So I need to be able to get on a one-on-one call with you just to be able to, break all this stuff down, because I read your book, and after I got done reading your book, I studied it for like 3 months. And then after that, I picked up the Superior Man. So the Superior Man correlates back into your book as I read it. So I'm like, damn, both these books is like the same. One gives you the breaking point in the beginning, and the other one gives you the midterms and everything else. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, the way of the Superior Man is deep, is I think that I love that book. I wish I had read it earlier than when I did. You know what I'm saying? And just really understanding how to to be okay with your masculine essence. That
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
knowing how to use it, especially like I find myself, as a man, if you're grounded in your masculine, you will often find that there are a lot of things and situations that come up every single day. Anxiety, bills, responsibilities, fuck ups, whatever. They all come and try to force you off your square. You get what I'm saying? And so, like, I learned a lot from that book. And, I tried to apply it as best as my upbringing kind of provided for me. You get what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's upbringing also matters in how they go towards their life's purpose. Because if everybody just told you get a job and you'll be all right, and that's all you ever did, I'm not saying that you should quit your job, but it might be hard to quit your job if that's all you've ever known. So, like, the facts are, for the most part, that a lot of us as men, depending on what age we are, but it doesn't even matter. Like the first thing that we went after was relationships. So now,
Man.
like, it's hard to say, nah, I'm not fucking with you, none at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to not text, like, especially when you got women who want to text you, who want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for you, like, but you try to go to another level or another step, so to speak, in your own development, right?
Yeah.
But and every time you try with the women, it's like 2 steps forward and 3 steps back.
Man.
Well, I know, because like the average woman, before she gets to a certain point in her own life, she's not mature enough to stay dedicated for the purpose. Most women are want to base their dedication based on their love. You get what I'm saying? But that love shit it's as moody as they are. It's gonna come and go. So it's like it takes a higher level of discipline from a man to just be at a level where he can get back to his purpose because he understands it. So now you're gonna get you think it's easy to find a woman who can do that too? No, it's not. Because if you take 2 days off from the job, it might from working on your stuff, right? The third day, it might take you all day just to get back working. How long is it gonna take?
And that's a week of work just missing. 2 days is like a week of work missing because
Exactly. Try being a freaking writer where you gotta write stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not on every day. Like
Yeah, nah.
that's not on every day. Like a lot of these guys that you see out here, I tip my hats to them because they create so much content on a daily basis. That's not on every day for them neither. But people come out here and try the best to do what they have to do in their forms. You know what I'm saying? Just like somebody who's new to a game, you got to get more practice in it than anybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're the rookie, you know what I'm saying? If
You
you're
ain't
the
gonna get no
rookie,
playing time.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're the rookie, you got to get the practice. Like I keep hearing these stories about Kobe Bryant, and this dude was talking about Kobe broke his wrist or something like that, and he was like, he thought for sure that after he broke his wrist, he'll beat Kobe to practice. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
And he ain't beat Kobe to practice the next day. Kobe still beat him with a broke wrist. So it's just like like I feel like it's so far-fetched for a lot of guys because we're not used to working on the purpose, and we're so used to you know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah,
so
you used to
used to pursuing the women.
create that part, creating the image of just trying to have this claim of I got all these women, because I had to really read this. I had got this book from my brother, and my brother, I call him a playboy because he's he's a playboy, and I told him, I said, when I was growing up with him, I said after I got done doing all that extra stuff and leaving that stuff behind, I told him, I said, man, that was like the worst image of myself. And I learned because he had the book. He gave the book to me. He was supposed to read the book, but as you manifest things in your life, you receive certain items.
Right.
So that book was the item that I needed to receive to put me on to chase my purpose. He didn't read the book because he wasn't trying to leave his old ways behind. And I told him, I said, man, that the ways that you influenced me was just negative, bro. Like treating, flip flopping and flip flopping back and forth with women. You know what I'm saying? You living in a past trauma of something that you're not willing to let go. I'm willing to let all that go because that's not who I am no more. I'm not worried about feeding my energy into Brittany, Ashley, Sarah, Waukesha, or whoever, because that's just a piece of me in each one of them, and I'm just lost in all four corners of the game, just like chess. You got to know how to move every single piece on the board. If you don't know that, then you just not playing the game right. You just playing to win. You're not playing to actually lose and accept defeat and do it all over again. You just playing to play.
Yeah, man.
So
I feel like it's when you're young. How old is he?
he's 20. I think, what is he? He's 29. I'm 24.
Okay. So, you want something different. You know what I'm saying? You clearly want something different. And, I I don't know, man. Some dudes ain't gonna stop, bro.
Nah. That's why I try to tell you, man, you gotta read that book, man. That book gonna speak to you while you're reading it. You need to read it.
but that's the other thing too. Like you're saying, like like a lot of cats who are doing this as a trauma response, which it is. It is for a lot of dudes. It is a trauma response. Like you really only out here trying to pad your numbers to feel better about yourself because of something that you don't, something that you're hiding. And it's not all the time, because I do believe there's some really sexual deviant motherfuckers out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they scratched their crotch one time at 6 and it was on from then. You get what I'm saying? Like there are some people who are literally like that, and are just horn toads from get-go. But then for a great majority, you got some people who did some things. Matter of fact, I was just talking about this earlier. A lot of these dudes that are so over sexual, what I'm saying, got turned out by some older broad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these are the real facts. So like that part about healing what happened to you, that I made sure I put that as a part of the book, because I had to be real. Everybody has something. Everybody's going through something. But when you feel like you can just go relieve all that stress, between the legs of something moist and somebody who's gonna be there to rub your head afterwards, like it might feel good in the now, but like the game is just, It's a dirty game, man. Like,
Man, that part. That's why I highlighted the best quote that you said in there is when you talked about when a man don't trust himself. He I got it in my phone, but you talk about it's a big paragraph, but it's not that big. It's a small one, and you pretty much talk about a man just doesn't have everything solidly planted down as a foundation. He's not going to have the truth. He's always going to have his mind is always going to be lost somewhere, and he's just not going to be able to trust himself anymore as a man because he's always looking for other answers instead of looking for the answer within himself.
man, haven't you been there sometimes before though?
Oh, man, that's why I took that piece for granted. I took that as a piece of pie because I'm like, man, that whatever I got to put my mind into, that's just what it is. Like right now, I'm stationed in Fort Benning right now. I'm in the military, so I had to make that a final decision. I just stopped talking. That's why I got out of your book was just stop talking, and just place those actions in front. They may not seem as in front as other people may see it or how fast they want it to be, but for me, if the ball is rolling, the ball is rolling. It's gonna be there when I need it to be there.
Facts.
For myself, not for nobody else.
Facts. Because like the ball ain't really rolling until you've gotten to the place where you need to be. Because like, listen, it takes a lot to build with a woman these days. Because you know what I'm saying? Because that means that both of y'all have to deal with your flaws. You know what I'm saying? Both of you guys are gonna have to deal with ego. Both of you guys are gonna have to deal with all your little issues along the way. That's not the common thing. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like most people, once they start growing in separate directions. And that's usually because when you start to learn about yourself, like one of the things you want to do is you want to share it with a woman. You get what I'm saying? But then shit, you sharing it, you ain't even mastered it yet. You be like, oh yeah, this is what it was, and she be like, oh, how you do? Be like, I don't know, girl. I just found out. Like,
yeah.
You know,
that part you just found out. Like, how'd you find out? Well,
yeah.
But I've been studying this for a minute. The day I got baptized, I've been straight for almost 3 years. So I ain't even put myself in those lanes before. So I've been mastering it since then. Now, when I picked your book up, that was just a piece of gem. I'm like, oh, I don't want to use this book as a power, but I'm gonna just keep it in my pocket because I'm already knowing what I need to do. Now I just need to keep placing it out in front of steps because I have a big plan right now, and that's why I'm glad that I got this Zoom able to time in because I've been trying to get it out. I'm like, man, I need to go talk to this dude one day, and this Zoom popped up in my email. I'm like, oh, I'm about to join this, and I was like, man, babe.
What's up, man? I'm glad, man. I love talking to the younger dudes like yourself because, like at 24, I started like, traveling across the world, doing my own thing. And I have relationships. Matter of fact, I have a bad relationship history of having relationships with women in different countries. And like, I break up with them or some shit because I want to go here and they don't want to go. You get what I'm saying? Shit like that. And
soul ties.
Yeah. And so it's just like, when you're that age, like the amount of time that you spend being selfish, like literally to replenish yourself and to give to yourself, like do you find that when you get to 30, 35 and you really want something more solid, you have more to give. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? You're 24 now, like another 3, 4, 5 years of developing yourself. And I don't mean that you be single the whole time, but the more developed you are at who you are becoming, the more you have to give to a woman in a relationship when the time is, and guess what? It's going to be easy to give it. You get what I'm saying? Because you spend so much time giving to yourself. Like, so yeah, man, like big shout outs to you, bro. Handle your business in the military. Do what you got to do, bro. Stay focused on that plan, man. Like stay focused on that plan because I'm telling you, the plan changes. The plan changes, and that's always a good thing. It's always a good thing because that just as long as you don't drop the plan, it doesn't get buried, Yeah. And the women, like I'm telling you, man, it's almost like you just got to put it together. You got to put the framework together first. Like they really don't matter until they can enhance what you are building. You know what I mean?
Man, Yeah, I know what you mean. Now, just to connect on what you just said, the framework. Because I'm a threat to a lot of my, a lot of people in my group because, I'm reading them off the bat like, man, y'all more worried about that. I'm not worried about that. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell y'all what's up, but y'all go do y'all. I ain't tripping. But what you just said, the framework is everybody always asks us about a business, and I tell them, I said, when you create a business, you build your box first. You build your four corners, and then you start filling everything in. Don't fill everything in first and then build the box after that. What you filling in? Everything don't have a foundation. Everything's just gonna fall through.
It's one of my favorite analogies, the foundation for a house, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be like, listen, the foundation, we can go somewhere with the foundation.
Yeah.
You can't go nowhere if you're trying to move in before the foundation is built. You can't, it's not a wise idea to build walls if there's no foundation, you know? And I'm not saying that you can't meet a woman can help you with the foundation. You can. It's just rare. It's just rare game. What's good, Theatric Dog? Let me know if y'all still hearing me. Silverback Haynes on there on the Instagram. I hear you, Lorenzo. We're gonna talk soon again, bro. You know, but yeah, man. It's the discipline. It's the discipline that you gotta execute. Anybody else on the inside wanted to say anything? I see some of y'all up in here, K-Dog, Lloyd, any of y'all. Sebron, my main man. You can just unmute yourself. Joe, appreciate you rapping with me, man. If you got any more questions, you can definitely hop back down.
Yes, sir. I think I got your Instagram.
For sure.
Your name is I am Nakada, right?
I am Nakada for sure. I'm on Instagram. Follow me if you're not following me there, man. And hit me up for one of the coaching sessions. If you know your DOB, you could probably go to the Jovian archive. You know, that's the work we do. Like, that'll definitely help you answer some questions about yourself and possibly help you, you know, put the plan together better and execute the plan better. Because, like, you know, it's all going to be you, of course, not just you. You feel me? But
yeah.
You got to execute it. You got to coach the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to coach it. So yeah, man, hit me up, man. Looking forward to that.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Peace. What's good, IG Chris? What's good with you? What's going on, Barrett?
Whoa, what's that, Nakada?
Who this, man?
It's K-Dog right there.
What's going on, K-Dog? How you doing, bro?
I'm cool, man. You good?
Man, I'm good, man. You know me, bro. I'm always doing my thing. I can't complain. I got some things I can complain about. My daddy used to say nobody cares.
Right. Hey, that's real. That's really real. Yeah, we had spoke a minute ago. I spoke. It was a good minute ago. It was a long time, but you know, I'm back on it. So I figured I'd jump on this Zoom right quick. I had a few things. Well, I had one thing that I just kind of needed a little bit of perspective on, I guess I'd say, you know, like, because a lot of times is, man, and unfortunately I got COVID, so I'm a little winded.
Okay, man. Hope you get back, man. Make sure you're taking your vitamin D.
Yeah, that's what everybody been telling me. I never have health issues, but I started a new job and having to be around too many people, somehow something slipped through and got me.
Yeah, man.
So, you know.
It came close to me too. I had to fight it out. It couldn't get me though. It was close.
Right. For real. But I was straight though. But yeah, man. So like I got a son, and on one of the last lives we spoke, we were talking about children, and you know, my son, he's very important to me, and I've been in his life since he been born. He know me, all of that shit. But his mom and I got into it like 7 months ago now. We got into it, and you know, she was talking. I moved to Atlanta, so I was coming back and forth every weekend to come get him and spend time with him and stuff.
Every weekend?
Yeah,
Wow.
every weekend. Every weekend.
That's traffic.
Yeah, it's a lot of traffic, but you know, a lot of her. I think she inadvertently. I thought about it today. She inadvertently bullied me on some type shit, like, and I felt pressured, like, I want to be in his life and I rock with him, and I know he needs me and my influence as well. But you know, it was a lot of strain and stress on me to have to come back every weekend. And if I couldn't make it sometime, which was only a couple of times, she'll do a lot of bitching and complaining and, you know, just be real problematic, and things wouldn't be smooth between the two of us. And I always have wanted to have a smooth relationship with her because, you know, my son is watching, he's seeing, and but I'm trying to advance my life at the same time. So eventually I got to the place where it was just like, I'm still putting her before me. So I'm gonna have to tell you, look, I can't make it to Atlanta. I can't make it back this weekend because I got some acting stuff that I gotta do. And I need to focus on that. And once I come down there, I'm not gonna have nobody to help me. So, you know, arguments here and there, but we got me from seeing him. So I haven't seen him. I didn't see him like by chance. You know, Ancestors Universe put it together for me to see him a couple of times during these last 7 months. Like, it's really been mentally taxing on me, emotionally taxing on me, and I feel like I'm being played with and disrespected. So I took her to court. I started the process like 4 months ago, and we finally went to court this last about 2 weeks ago. And I went on some stuff like, you know, to get the legitimization, because in Georgia, if you're not married to a woman,
Yo, and
if you,
Jaws.
yeah, and I knew about it I knew about it when he first was born, but I didn't go through with the paperwork. I didn't want to make her feel like I ain't think he was my child. So I was trying to protect her ego and all of me. And she stopped me from seeing him, able to see him, talk to him. And, you know, children are very impressionable. And with him knowing how much his father loves and cares about him, you know, I feel like the message that's being relayed is that your father is not important. He can be disregarded at any point in time. He can be X'd out, and you don't have to respect him. But we communicate well. Like I tell him, we're both men, son. So we need to be able to communicate with each other, respect each other, and understand each other, because, you know, that's how problems arise when men can't talk things through, or, you know, just people in general. Right. So we have a real good relationship. So every time he had seen me, the first time he saw me, he was a little apprehensive. He was, you know, his mom was around, so it was his birthday, and he was acting bad. I guess I'd say like, hi, Dad. But I tickle him, I mess with him, like, man, boy, get out of here with that. I'm gonna love you. I'm your father. So he shook back. But I took it to court, and I took it to court to get 50-50 custody and to get my legitimization or whatever, because I'm moving back to where I was so that I could get back my stable place in his life, because I already see the direction that they're trying to take it. And her family has a history of Xing the fathers out. Her dad had to see her through her mom's window from the grandmother, and the grandmother's, my child's mother wasn't allowed to see her father. So this is generational, and I'm trying to break that curse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they told me, they was like, yeah, you could FaceTime him and you could call him. But I wasn't rocking with that. I did it one time, but it's a slap in the face to me to having been as involved as I have been, to reduce me to a FaceTime call, to not be able to touch my son and walk with him and teach him life lessons, you know, real live in the flesh. So I took her to court, and she went in there and she told every lie she could tell on me to keep me out of his life. She went in there, she said, I haven't been there. You know, they have the law where if you don't establish a relationship with the child within a certain amount of time, you forfeit the right to legitimization. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's some law where, like, if you don't try to establish a relationship within the pregnancy or after the birth within a certain time period, you no longer have the right to get legitimized, you know, for the best interest of the child fearing the father. So she went in on all of that. She was like, yeah, he hasn't known the lies were just shocking to me. I didn't expect her to go that route, but she was like, yeah, his son doesn't know him. Like, and my son rock with me harder than he rock with her, you know, just to be real with you. He's like, his son doesn't know him. I don't want him to spend the nights with him anymore. A lot of things she said, she contradicted herself, and, you know, lies don't last. They don't stand. So the truth has its own merit. So I know the judge was able to peep and see and hear my passion and my truth and my realness. But she said that I was abusive to her. She said that my son and I we had an underdeveloped relationship. She said, I haven't done anything for my son financially. I haven't done anything for her financially. People told me keep receipts, but I never thought we would get to that place. So I didn't keep receipts. Every man's story.
Right.
So, but what I guess to ask you is like, I don't really know how to feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my character is very important to me, and I don't really care about her necessarily going in court lying on me. But after all of this is over with and it's done, like, how do you expect me to look at you to feel? For mom, I brought my mom with me because she was my witness or whatever, and my mother has been involved, very involved in my son's life as well. Because when I come back home on weekends, that's where I was staying at my own place in Atlanta. But she told every lie she could tell in a book. She told the people about my guns. She had the people questioning me about my religion. She had them question. She had them pull up my business and my finances and all of that stuff,
Damn,
which they do all that anyway. Yeah, she came with every single stop. So the judge, this Georgia, everybody got guns in Georgia. Just they love hunting. So she told them about my weapons, told them about my religion. She told them about she said I was violent towards her. She said that my son didn't know me. She trying to get me with supervised visits. She's trying to get me to not be able to see him, but like 4 times out the month. And the judge was like, 4 times? He was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, I want him to see him every other weekend. He looked at his finger like, 4? She was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. And but my thing is, like, after all of this is done, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I'm hoping that is, what I would like it to be. But like, I got to prepare myself because I do understand, how things can be sometimes. And I don't want to click out and I don't want to crash. But it's been very hard for me to not do so, not being able to see my son, know how he emotionally is doing. Last time I saw him, I asked him, like, how you feel, son, like not seeing me? He told me he was sad, that he missed me, and that it made him really sad that he couldn't see me, and it made me feel the same way, but emotionally it's bothering me. And especially sitting these 2 weeks with COVID and having to really just sit, analyze, process, clear up, and understand where I am in life, where I'm working towards being in life, and how I see my life evolving and where I want things to go. My frustrations are coming back. And it's like, all right, like, y'all really playing with me. And I'm being bullied by the state because of the laws, and by her and her family because of the power they have. Like, you got any suggestions that you could possibly give me to
yes, sir.
maybe, yeah, like what you got? Because my mind is just like, let it go, Ken. It's gonna be what it is. Your son, your relationship hasn't broken with him. Every time he see you, it's all love. He happy. He know what it is, and he got to turn 13 one day. But at this point in time,
How old is he now?
he's 4 now.
Okay.
So
So
I still.
this is how I say it. First of all, I've been through a similar game. And I would say what's important to understand is that all warfare is based on deception. That's from the
Right.
art of war. And so what I did, like what I see you're doing, is that you put your feelings out there and your emotions out there, and people know exactly how to hurt you. Do you
Right.
understand?
Yeah, I did that.
And so you wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to do the right thing too. Prioritize your child. You know what I'm saying? Try to provide as much love as you want. But guess what? This wasn't a stable ground that you planted seed in. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
therefore, like, whether you come to realization with that right now or later, the bottom line is this is where you had children. So like, I had children in a precarious position as well. And with that position being so precarious, there was a moment of me just wanting things to work out the way that I wanted to work out. And thinking, okay, well, what I want is the righteous thing or the right thing, or this is balance, or, what I'm
Right.
saying, what's best. And yeah, in many cases as men, that exactly what we want is exactly, you know what I'm saying, is is what's good and sometimes what's best. You feel what I'm saying? But the truth is, once you put your emotions out there, once you put all the cards out there of how people to hurt you, you know what I'm saying? Like I said this before, and I don't know, people don't like to hear it, but once the woman or anybody makes the child a pawn or a puppet, the child's a pawn or a puppet until the one of the parent that's doing that stops doing it.
Right.
And so now you can't risk too much, because your happiness, your foundation, your purpose, and these things matter, because once you become who the executive of your life's purpose, the way you're supposed to, once you start doing and moving the way you want to be moving, the way you should be moving, your powers are going to allow for you to get it the way you want to get it things. But here's the thing, you ain't gonna get it the way you want to get it. And the reason, and you have to come to grips with that. And the reason why I say you ain't gonna get it the way you want to get it, because what you wanted, what you would have wanted was to be with her, to have a good relationship with her, you know what I'm saying, and stick it through. But that ain't gonna happen. That's done. You probably ain't never, you probably don't even want to touch this woman with a 10-foot pole no more. You probably repulsive every time you see her. She probably used to be very attractive to you, but now every time you see her, you want to throw up because of what you're going through. And she's doing that because she knows that it can get to you. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? All warfare is based on deception. You can't have your feelings too much out there like that. You got to learn how to, in this game, because what you do sometimes, and I've been in this position, is that you know the right thing to do and you try to do it. But then in these situations, especially as brothers, like, you have to be Jesus. You have to be Jesus perfect to make these people happy sometimes. So if that means that you got to travel 10 hours twice a week or twice a day, and she don't got to do that shit, let her ever be the one on the hook for doing some high stakes responsibility stuff. She's not going to make those deadlines if you was dependent on her. So the bottom line is, you got to go through all these obstacles, be damn near perfect in a situation that you didn't even set up. You know what I'm saying? It's different if you set up, you decided that you wanted to move away from them, and you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is, to pursue your dreams. So that means that, okay, if that means that you made a sacrifice for yourself and this is the results of it, then boom, you're okay with the results of it. You're willing to live, you're willing to pay, you're willing to whatever. But then when it's somebody else doing it to you, it's a whole different vibe, ain't it?
Right. Now, I will say I did move to Atlanta to pursue the dreams. I'm only 3 hours from where I was. So I did.
And that's why you did the driving.
That's why I did the driving.
Exactly.
Because it was on me and I could. Yeah.
You compensated for that. But the bottom line is, somebody else was not too happy about you going and pursuing your dreams.
Right.
Because I've been told before, that's for the kid, that's not for me. So you know that the child's going to benefit from that, but you're more concerned about yourself at this particular moment. So it's just like the angst, the dysfunction that's already there. It's already there, bro. It's already there. So therefore, like, you have to learn how to deal with somebody who perhaps will never heal, and you are trying to seek a solution that's for healed people.
Right.
So now you have to learn how to start being real about what you're actually faced with this person. Come up with a better strategy and understand that you're not trying to get this to be perfect. It's not perfect. What's going to be perfect is when you do what you have to do, be who you have to be, and start the family that you really, really want, and then incorporate that child into that family.
Right.
You understand? Because you're not going to get it with her. And you're not going to get, the validation aspects of it, or trying to meet the validations, trying to put up with the pressures and stuff. Man, it's going to weigh you down. It's going to weigh you down. So, like, I've been there before, very highly emotional about it. You know what I'm saying? Very highly emotional about the space where I'm at, understanding that, damn, I damn near gotta be perfect. And then I realized that shit that's impossible, man. Right. You can't be perfect in these situations. You're not even coming from a perfect situation with the person. You're trying to make dysfunctional bearable. So I would definitely say that, yeah, you're doing the right thing by going the court route or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? But your intentions has to be strong. Your mind has to be strong. You have to use your willpower to understand that because you are worthy, because you are righteous, because you are doing the right thing, because in the end, these sacrifices you make will be worth something. Like that everything is going to be all right. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not going to be the ideal situation where you want to be. You want to be there every day. You care a lot. But there is, I mean, I know, but that's not your wife. So caring a little bit too much like you do based on with somebody who won't appreciate that or who would try to manipulate and exploit it, you just can't, because that's all warfare is based on deception. And I'm not saying you completely deceive her, but you can't be so open. So there is a scaling back that me myself had to do. I had to get real about it. If the kid's living with the mom and this, that, and that, then this is what comes with it. It is what it is. This is, hey, I own this shit. But I can't expect for it to be some fairy tale shit that it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna be that. She don't respect me. If I don't sleep with her, if I don't be with her, she gonna hate me. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things, whatever the scenario may be.
Right.
Any success that you may seem to have, like you talking about a person who's hurt. And I'm not saying that you were perfect to her, but I'm sure some hurt came along the way within that too. But you can't live off yesterday's pain forever. And so if you continue to expect her to be righteous and to do the right thing, like you better stop. Because people, when they hurt and they're not in the right space, they're not gonna do the right thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that one. If I thought anything different going in that court and her walking past me, being in my mama face and mine and telling every lie she did, like it's mind blowing to me. It was mind blowing.
Yeah,
like,
it was mind blowing
you
because
really sitting up.
There's this other saying that says all is fair in the game of love and war. And that means that they say anything against somebody who they feel has hurt them. They'll take out any strap, go to any extent. Now, I don't believe in that necessarily, but when it's time to smear blood on the wall, it's better your blood than hers.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, you definitely don't want to look at it from this position. But if that's how you're being treated, like, you really don't have a choice but to take it for what it is, brother. And play the game where you protect your, know that what you're working towards is worth the sacrifice. Know that you're working towards the right thing. Know that what you're doing is the right thing. But you can't bank on that relationship improving. You got to improve. You get what I'm saying? You got to make the maneuvers that put you in a different position so that way, boom, now her arms become too short to reach you. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I get you.
It's kind of, the women in America, they use whatever is to their advantage. You get what I'm saying? But what's to your advantage is your space. You can't let people into it so easily to cause problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to devise a better plan. Don't put your feelings too much out there. You can't, if you're coming from the left, she got to be thinking you coming from the right. You know what I'm saying? And be okay with just, this is who this person is. You got to learn how to cope with it. So, you got to find your coping mechanism, and don't set your expectation. How could you do this? I thought you were. Nope, I wasn't. I was lying. I was lying to myself, and I was lying to you. And pretty much everything that I say is going to be a byproduct of my pain, but I'm going to just cause problems. Man, I've seen it. We've all seen it. It's sad that it's so common. But yeah, sometimes when it happens like that, it hits you like a ton of bricks, bro. They come in there and they throw everything at you, and some are willing to lie. I've been through a situation just last year. Lie, lie, lie. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as a black man in America, it's easy to turn the people against you, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. So you got to stay strong. You know what I'm saying? Guard your hand of cards. You know, get the best information that you can, and remember that you can't spend your whole life fighting, especially when you're so young and you're trying to make it. Some fights, are not worth fighting right now. You know, he who fights and run away lives to fight another day. So, and
That's real.
you gotta be strategic about what battles you want to take. How much is it worth? Because sometimes it's worth striking while the iron is hot. Sometimes it's worth going out there with your saw and cutting their head off right away. But sometimes you gotta wait and ambush. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta wait and set up a third party and do something different. You know, but it just depends on the resources, because you can't go broke fighting a war that you don't need to fight yet. Wait till your reserves are bigger. Wait till you get a little bit stronger. You know, learn how to live with what you can get. You know, trust me, man. If you're righteous and you do the right thing, the unfortunate part is that it'll come back around to that person, but it won't be good for the person or the child, because if they're doing you wrong, sometimes it ends up the wrong. When they get hurt, when it comes back around to them, it affects your child too. So you know what I'm saying? They do you wrong, they get bad karma from doing you wrong, but then the child gets the bruises and stuff, and that's the part that's hard, but that's how it is. You know,
Yeah.
so you gotta protect your best
Yeah.
interest.
I feel that. I feel that completely. You kind of probably right on, spot on to kind of what I've been thinking. Like, I did spend the money for the lawyer and everything, so that's already what it is. Her family was upset. They kept trying to talk me down. Like, if you sit down with her and she says you can see your son tomorrow, will you drop the case? I'm like, hell no, I'm not dropping nothing. I don't want her to be able to have the power to say tomorrow, no, you can't see him no more. Like, you didn't have this child on your own, but at the same time, I do have major dreams and goals and ambitions, and I was willing to put myself through a lot to even just have my son for the whole 2 weeks out of the month. That would be taxing on me as to what I'm trying to do, but I maneuver. Like, I figure out ways to maneuver around so my son could be with me, working on my business. So I could be teaching him hand and foot. He could be in the mix with me learning. But I get exactly what you're saying as far as taking what I could get right now and possibly coming back when I got a little bit of a better strategy, things are in a better place. Because I know one day she will be at the place where she's more reluctant. And once I know it's really all financial. She want bread, she want money, and I'm probably gonna just pop off anyways. But like, it didn't have to be like that. It didn't have to go like that.
Trust me, bro. When you
But
get the
like you
bread,
said,
it's
I
not
got
gonna make a
what
difference.
it.
It's not gonna make a difference. Nah, bro. Like, it's like I've been on the hopeful side about situations I've been to. No. Like, I'm sorry. The optimism is great. It's nice. It's good. You have a great heart, but it's not optimism that you need right now. You need realism. You get what I'm saying? And the realism is that many people are hurt. If you do not see her healing from her traumas and her issues and the things that have plagued her to put her in this position, then she's not going to get better. You get what I'm saying? So it's you gotta get better. And you got, like I said, you gotta get your arms gotta get so long it's like when I was a kid, like if my brother was way bigger than me, you know what I'm saying, way bigger than me. So if I get mad about something, he'll just hold his hand on my head, and I'm swinging around real crazy, like I can't touch him. I can't touch him.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
where you gotta get. You gotta grow to the point where,
Yeah.
you know, it's not that you're untouchable, but it's like they can't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And if that person or if the people are constantly trying to hurt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Sebron, you know what I'm talking about, bro. These times wasn't that far off from me neither, man. Like a lot of men have been through this, but the game is, man, as hard as it is that you gotta put a stiff arm on it. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you gotta play the game. You gotta play the game based on your position. If altering your life is not the best thing to do, don't do it. You get what I'm saying? If going
Yeah.
to wherever to bridge the gap is the best thing to do it. But it's got to be the best thing to do for you. You get what I'm saying? Because like what I'm saying is that when you do try to offer that perfect solution that actually fix the problem, when you're dealing with unhealed women, unhealed people in general, you do all of this the right stuff and don't fix the problem. So money doesn't change it. As a matter of fact, Sebron just said that money doesn't change it. It makes it worse. They ultimately just want control. That's facts. And it's
Yeah.
not all women,
That's true.
but it's these women. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right.
it's better. I'm not trying to say, you know, you can't be optimistic. Like I said, I've been optimistic in situations like this, but optimism is not, it's not your best use of your time. You know, working on who you are to get to the position where you need to be, being as realistic about that, studying yourself, because you're already in the situation where you're separated. You're already there. You're already separated. So like you make use of your time, but understand that this is what a lot of single fathers don't get. It's like this perfection or this great fatherhood conception that you're trying to give to this child from this dysfunctional relationship. It's like you got to get real about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not like if
Yeah.
it wasn't a whole, if there's no chance of wholeness coming from this, there's no, you know, it's just bad. But it's good to have the expectations. It's good to be optimistic. But the best that you could do is what you could create, you know, and who's gonna be there to cooperate with you. And that person is not cooperative, bro.
Right.
So it's like it's a waste of optimism. Do
That's
what you
right.
gotta do. You gotta understand that you gotta start over new anyways. So if you're not committed to that, like this, what's gonna happen is I've been in this situation, you're gonna be between two homes. You're gonna be, and then when you get another woman, this woman is gonna be doing some dominance hierarchy shit, trying to piss all over your front lawn to drive the other one. I've been there, man. They trying to drive each other out of town or whatever. So
That
it's
we
just,
that
so you gotta create space, bro. You gotta create space. You know what I'm saying? You gotta create space so that way and make sure that they can respect your space. And sometimes that whole respect your space thing even takes years.
right.
So like you can't it's unwise to look for any solutions that depend on her. Look for solutions that depend on you.
Right.
Your move, your chess move only. Everything else is just it's too volatile. You're not dealing with a healed person.
Right.
And then here's the thing, like sometimes I've been in situations like this before where, you know, I played the righteous end for as long as I guess I possibly could. You know what I'm saying? And the person was never, you know, it was just a year or two of me keeping the peace. You know what I'm saying? And eventually they went back to the same old craziness. because that's who they are. Because they didn't heal. So when you see, that's another thing too. When you grow and you are able to, you know what, I'm not going to let her, them, you know, or him or whomever. I've evolved to the point where you can fuck with me. So now you learn how to put up with their shit, but you ain't gonna be able to put up with it forever. You just, you know, you learn not to cuss them out. But eventually, like if they don't heal, if they keeps trying to, if you learn, like if you learn how to wear a bulletproof vest and they keep shooting you and they're saying, oh, well, you got on a bulletproof vest, it's not gonna kill you. That's how they do. That's how they do. They think that because you're a man, you got on a bulletproof vest, so they're gonna shoot you. But guess what? Depending on the gauge of that gun, even with the bulletproof vest, you're gonna it's gonna leave a wound. It's like getting hit with a bat.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? So like, what do you want? Like, you know, you can't give out too much of your cards. You know what I'm saying? Sebron say you have to take the lead, even if she doesn't always follow. You gotta take the lead on your own life and your own thing. And the point is, like I said, you gotta move from, you're taking the right legal position, but you just have to do it carefully. So that way you're not asking for permission. Appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate that. You know, you're not asking for permission. That's why I said, whatever you can do, just look to your own powers, bro. And trust me. If you only focus on that and never focus on what she's gonna do, you'll be all right. Because trust me, it's gonna be different each year with these type of people. If they don't heal, 4, listen, man, I thought by 4 I'd be done with the crap. Trust me, bro. It don't work like that. So you just gotta be patient. Like I said,
yeah,
the art of all warfare is deception. You can't let her know what you're doing. You know,
that's real.
And the more righteous it is, the more of the right thing it is, the more likely it's gonna happen. But you can't romanticize about it, and you can't put your cards out on the table to the point where the person knows how to disturb you. You see, like that conversation where they say, if she allowed you to do, you don't want no middleman in there. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be like, oh, that shit's wrong. Period. Done. It's just wrong. Period. Done. I'm not going in between with you. Like I've now taken a position where if you treat me wrongly, I don't care what's at stake. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not willing to deal with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, that's the most ultimate heart-wrenching kind of situation when you have to make a decision like that and children are involved. But who's gonna be the pawn? You or the child? Because in these situations where these women are using the children as the pawn, the goal is to acquire you as a pawn too.
Yep.
So now you like, she don't love either one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So like, sadly, the child is the pawn in this situation, and you got to do your best not to be one. And if you're strong enough, if you get strong enough, maybe you can rescue the child, but it's highly improbable that you will unless she gets healing. So it's a tough spot, but you know what I'm saying? Gird your loins, because it's not going to be easy. I wish I could tell you, and I wish any man could tell you that at just 4 years old, that's just the beginning, bro. And like we said, money is not going to change the situation. It's just got to be well enough to change your situation. That's all you need to be concerned about. It changes your situation, and then you move from there. So yeah, man, stay strong, brother. I do remember talking to you before. Stay strong, man.
I'm gonna do that, man. I'm gonna definitely do that. My bad. I ain't hear you. What you said?
I said the game has literally just began.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I'm gonna take. Yeah, I go. But I got you. I appreciate the conversation, you listening to me and giving me the game. You know,
all right, bro,
I definitely do.
Take care of yourself, man. Make the best move. You're gonna have if you
I'm gonna
play
do
the
that.
game right, you should have more children. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
have it from
Right.
from your foundation. You know, you gotta do better. You know, you just gotta choose better, understand what you need, because you know, it's not all women is gonna try to play this whole hostage situation with the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them, you know what I'm saying? Some of them want the fathers around. So it's just you gotta get down to those basic things because that's clearly something that's important to you. So you know, you gotta get that next time around.
Definitely.
All right, then, my family, man. Take it easy, man. Like I say,
All
y'all,
right.
thanks for supporting, man. Show some Cash App love if you can. I am Nakada or PayPal, whatever you can contribute, help your boy out. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, K-Dog, do your thing, bro. Anybody else on here, Lloyd, Sevron, anybody had something to say, let me know.
Hey, what's happening, man?
What's going on, my G? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't, I won't complain. I'm here trying to will myself to new goals and new things just like everybody else, man.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I was digging everything you was telling the young brother, man. As he was talking, I was just feeling his pain, man. I understand. I swear I understand. Stuff's crazy.
The way it plays out for him, it just like the way he said it kind of remind me of when it happened to me like that too. I'm like, how could you?
Yeah. You take it so personally, don't you? You don't realize that ain't nothing that you can do to change that woman, man. She is who she is. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you over here like, what? She wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah, right.
It's like the government. The government wouldn't do that.
Man, look, I'm telling you, my kids are 15 and 13, man, and I've come a long way, absolutely, but it's still little stuff here and there. Or it's still something. It don't never, and the money don't change it. Don't your perception changes it. That's the only thing that changes it. The way you look at the whole situation. You be the best father that you can possibly be, man, and you take the lead. And sometimes she'll follow, sometimes she won't, but you make sure to do everything you got to do to be there for your seeds. And when you do that, man, everything else kind of falls into place where it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
you know
because like if the person, like you do have some people, like I've seen some situations where, you know, it's really about power dynamics and control. And,
right.
You know, for the younger men or the older men, it doesn't really matter. When you get in that game, like you're in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and being the best father that you possibly can. Sometimes, you know, like K-Dog, it might feel hopeless for some years. You know what I'm saying? Like it might feel like, damn, this is not exactly what I want to give. I want to give so much more. I want to do so much more. But
trying to fight that good fight, man. That's if you can get to a place where her opinion doesn't bother you no more. Because for a while it bothered me that she tried to make me feel like I was not a good father and would degrade me every turn or fight me every turn, every time that I didn't do anything that she wanted me to do.
Right.
And that's what's the big thing. It's just what she wanted me to do. But it didn't mean it was the right or the wrong thing. It's just what she wanted to happen. Yep. So once you get to the point where you can care less about her opinion, man, you there. You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I need to do. Because ultimately, I think it's the best move for the kids. And that's what it is. Because
in the early days, there's so much that you feel that you have to prove.
Right, you do.
You know, as a man, I'm a man, like I'm a father now, like, you know what I mean? Like, and some guys, you know, you didn't get a chance to marry the person or whatever. So you're trying to do this best job thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, the little blowbacks that you're getting from her, it hurts your feelings for a while. You know what I'm saying? Especially like at 4, the kid's still young. You know what I'm saying? So man, it really is just learning how to, like I said, stiff arm. You know, you know what I'm saying? Because a stiff arm is better than a swing back. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping you off of me. I'm just keeping you off of me. That's all. I'm just keeping you off of me.
Give me 50 feet. Give me
Yeah,
50 feet at all times.
I'm just keeping you off. I'm doing my best to be my evolved self.
Right. My best self. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You do. You do.
And then, you know, and you're not gonna know my left hand from my right hand. That's one thing that I learned in this game. Like, if I gotta make a move, if you gotta make a move, they can't see it coming.
Yeah,
They
you
can't
gotta
see
move in
it coming.
silence. Yeah,
They can't
because
see it
they'll
coming.
try their best to ruin it.
Yeah,
They'll
because
try to,
and not only that, there's so much emotions that a lot of that go into it for a lot of men. Like he said, he had to go get papers. Like he ain't want to do all that.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
to do
you
that
do.
too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But you ain't want to do all that. But that's what happens sometimes when these people don't want you to leave, or just the person just, you know, they have problems from the get-go.
Yeah,
You can't make these people into nothing, man.
nah.
Yeah. Listen,
You can't at all.
my kids ain't even in your kids' age yet. But the more I realize that that time is coming, like I say this to the men, especially the ones that want to be fathers, man. Start over.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Start over, or stop fertilizing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But when you stop
yeah,
fertilizing, do understand that the games pick up a little bit. You know,
yeah.
because like now you value your children more. So like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we are not our grandfathers or great grandfathers who had 8 and 9 children.
Right,
We are
right.
not.
Nah,
We so
nah.
far off from them, like it's crazy. But then a lot of guys who are in these 1-2 children situations where the women are playing games with them because of the root, they be like, damn, I wish I had more children, but then shit, you ain't got nobody to have them with. Because
Mm-mm.
everybody who could have them is probably gonna play some games like they play.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so
They're not where you at. They in this whole other place.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm telling you, man, only in America. This is only in America. This is
Mm-hmm.
only in America. They're like I think maybe in Western Europe or in UK and those places, but not wanting your not alienating or pushing a man away is some American shit. Some
Yeah,
Western minded stuff. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
That Jim Crow laws. I read the book and they said all of that. Like you take the child and separate the mother and the father and give
right.
them assistance. They're gonna X the father out. Like I can get all this free stuff. I don't need you.
Yo,
The government, my daddy.
yo. And
Yeah,
even when they don't need the government, even
Right.
when they don't need their government, they be taking the government stuff,
mm,
putting you in a further more precarious situation with them. Like, so I
yeah.
mean, listen, man, like I don't feel sorry for myself. You know what I'm saying?
I
It-
I
it-
say the same thing, man. I picked this. That it is what it is. So
yeah.
I gotta see it through. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So
I had a cousin that was trying to give me this game for years before I even had children. I was just like, nah, bro. Nah, like you're not gonna these women. I was like, they're angels. No woman would do that to me.
right, right.
They're
That's
angels.
crazy.
But you
Wow.
know what I'm saying? Like, but until you see like, you know, your buddy or your family member with a woman that was everything to him and she divorced him and how bitter she becomes afterwards, like you be like, I could not believe she's doing all of this to you. Like she used to love you.
Yeah, yeah. That turns on a dime now.
Listen, man.
That'll turn on a dime.
Listen, and I'm
In
not
a
like
heartbeat.
women love to say it's not all of them. I get it, it's not all of them, but shit,
Mhm.
come to Miami. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I can imagine. I can imagine, man.
You come to
Um,
Atlanta. You feel me?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, I want to ask you, man.
Sure.
Uh, I guess it kind of in alignment with what we're talking about now. I'm looking for like I guess a healthy balance, um, with what I think a lot of us are trying to do, man. I'm really trying to transition myself from the 9 to 5 life into just entrepreneurship. And I'm working on everything and getting it together, man. And just with my job alone, it's sometimes 6 or 7 days a week, and I do well, especially with taking care of my kids, taking care of my family. But with the switch over to entrepreneurship and trying to build something here at the point where I'm trying to build it, is very difficult to figure out a healthy balance with family, with because I'm single. It's just me with my children, with work, and just all the above. I find myself kind of sometimes running in circles trying to attain that balance and to keep. I guess really just give my kids that time that they need. And sometimes I find that real difficult because, you give yourself too much to your kids, then you'll have what you're trying to build. It slows your progress on what you're trying to build. And when you don't, you kind of sacrifice that relationship that you're trying to build with your kids, especially at the age, what I just said, 13 and 15. I'm really trying to be there to where there's no doubt in their mind. And I know this is a very difficult time in their life. So I'm trying to find that healthy balance with that, man, and to see exactly where that, I guess, begins and ends.
Man, that's a tough one because, I used to say to myself, especially when my kids were younger, oh, I'm doing this now so that way soon I can pay more attention to y'all. But they're still here in the same house with me while I'm doing my work, so to speak. It's just sometimes I just lock the screen door and just watch them, in those days, and they'll just tear up the house and I just let them, and I'll continue to work. And then, but then, 3 or 4 years later, I'm still on the same story that I'm still working. So the truth is the work never really stops.
No, just,
you know what I'm
saying? Still there.
And I don't know what's it worth to say this, but my father had like this chemical business when I was like 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. And not that I hated, but I had to do the invoices and hear out all the problems and stuff. You know what I'm saying? In the business. And I had to do the invoices. So it's like after a while, it became second nature to do the invoices as well as to do whatever runs or whatever. So I feel like sometimes when they're at around that age, especially as I was, you got to find a way to involve them in it in any way that you possibly can. Whether they appreciate it now or not, they're going to learn something from it. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I do.
They're absolutely, because like I learned a lot during those 13, 14, 15, 16 years just from being of assistance to his business. And it wasn't a big business. It wasn't like this we rich type of thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was a legitimate business, within the school district and blah, 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 whatever, he was doing at the time. But, my dad's a chemist, so he was selling chemicals. So he'd literally tell me about all of this shit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like all I remember is getting the skills that I needed that I've later on used. So like I definitely feel as if you could find different ways to involve them in what you're doing that you have an opening there. I just feel like this is such a different age though. Like internet back in those days, dial-up internet took 5 minutes to connect. Like I didn't have a tablet or a phone. There was nothing to distract me. So, when I got off, like I had to make sure that these invoices were done and printed for him so he could send them off or whatever the case is. And he was going to stand up behind me the whole time and watch. So, I feel like sometimes we send the wrong message to our children with all this overwork and shit that we do. So
I think so too.
Yeah. And so I feel like we got to learn how to teach them what you need to teach them. You know what I'm saying? Because now you ain't got to worry about the A, B's, and the C's no more. You know what I'm saying? At 13, 14, they can technically drop out of school right now and make it under your tutelage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. That is true.
So it's kind of like, I feel like that you should really consider that as an option,
Okay.
or consider something as an option where they like it really is. It's I think that's it right there, because
Yeah.
the world is hard. My cousin set up his kids when they were about 16. He started doing this little credit card stuff. Like they had like perfect credit by the time they were 18, 19. Like you could set them
Yeah.
up for certain things. Now, of course, one or two of them were a little entitled and didn't really take advantage of some of the advantages that they had. But
Right.
the point is, maybe one out of the two of them are interested, or maybe both of them are interested. But the bottom line is that they learn how to understand what's theirs, and what's theirs is what you're doing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they get it, but maybe they expand on it. There has to be some kind of foundational kind of thing. Like the way I see my daughter, like I see my daughter as someone who could potentially run my publishing company when I'm gone, or even when I'm still alive. And then my son, because I do I do the metaphysical work, so I look at their charts and see what kind of abilities that they got based on that. So I kind of know what I'm getting out of both of them. So, but it's pretty good to have at least one that kind of matches up with me. You get what I'm saying? Whereas the other one, like he's gonna master information probably similar to me. He's a little bit more like me.
Right.
But so it's kind of like using the tools that you got. I think we've done sessions before. So kind of just run the kids and try to get a better understanding of them. Because at the end of the day, 13 or 14, you only got a couple more years before they're trying to outsmart you, like legitimately.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like you kind of got to have a step on them, and understanding their destinies in a metaphysical way kind of helps you help yourself, help them. Because the purpose of doing the work is to help yourself, help them anyways. But understanding how this one fits versus how this one doesn't fit, that's a little bit of science that it won't betray you at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It won't betray you at all.
Yeah.
So, I think that could definitely help.
I did think about that, because it's it's something that I want them to get a mindset of. My son had asked me something about working at McDonald's, and I told him, no, we got some other stuff planned. McDonald's ain't never going nowhere. I know you want you to have a little part-time job and start doing that, but I want him to concentrate on school and concentrate on his sports that he plays and the different things that he do. I don't really want him to worry about running to McDonald's every other day. And I got something different in mind for both of them. So
As
that's
you
absolutely
should.
a great idea. Right.
As you should.
Yeah,
man. Like it's get that out of him
ASAP. Yeah. Like I like the working mentality, but we're gonna change that up, man. Because I did all that growing up. Like it's a totally different day. That ain't what you have to do. Now McDonald's ain't never going nowhere. So
it ain't.
We gonna change it up.
Yeah, and it's like you got these other people in their lives that are also telling them stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of what you're doing is also combating the foolishness that they hear so often from everyone else. So it's like
a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, they got iPhones and tablets and the internet. So like, just imagine it's way more than what you got. So like, you got to be at 13, 14. I don't know what kind. I definitely feel like we should probably run something on their charts. Take a look at their own, their own divinity and work with it from there. That'll be the safest route. That'll be the safest route. Because like I look at like my daughter. She says stuff to me now these days at 9 years old, and I'd be like, I wonder if you're serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if you're actually gonna be like this, or you're gonna mean this. You know what I'm saying?
It's scary, man.
She had said some stuff like she don't want to have kids. And I was just like, oh, really?
Where did that idea even come from? My daughter's the same way, man. But like you said, they are they have so much more information coming their way from so many different places, man. And you
Yeah,
got to
man.
almost be, just a step ahead of them so you can kind of squash some of that stuff before it even begins. Like, nah, honey, that ain't. That's
Yeah.
not what it is. That's not even how we think. So her whole process, man. She's 13, she's in the 8th grade now, man. So I'm so focused in on her. She thinks I'm overprotective and this, that, and the third, man. It's just like, nah, honey, this is you may
That's
not realize this, but this is when you need me most right now. So I'm gonna
it's
be
the
all in your
standard.
face, all in your business. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Because
I don't know what
I
to tell you.
couldn't breathe at 13.
Oh man, dude.
Uh,
Telling you, man.
couldn't
Yeah,
breathe.
parents had me in all kind of different activities. Man, I was all over the place. I didn't have a chance to sit down and let stuff get in and out. But now it's just a lot different, man, with, being on the internet and Instagram and YouTube and all the stuff they have access to. It's a lot. It's a lot to have to
It's a
combat
lot.
sometimes.
It's a lot. It really is a lot. And you can't control all of it. That's the other thing.
No, you
And
can't.
yeah, and so it's just, yeah, man, you just kind of got to get to know them in ways like like with my father and my parents, like, it was always a dynamic where I felt like, I could say things to the women,
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
I would definitely not say to my dad or not want to say at all. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so
Yeah.
just as long as there's some balance there somewhere
Yeah.
where when you're going hard, there's some other soft side to comfort them somewhere. And you could probably set that up yourself. But,
Yeah.
like there was nothing like one of my aunts, like cooking some food or giving me something nice after a whole long day working with my uncle, my dad and my uncle, where I didn't get to
Right.
breathe, where I didn't get to
Mm.
drink water, and you know what I'm saying, and they made me walk. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I remember them days.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
remember them days.
And
I used to work with my pops, and it'd be my uncle, my pops, another friend of his, another uncle, and they just had me do everything, all the grunt work. Hey man, pull that outside, take that over here, do this.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I remember them days, man. I
Yeah, and
remember that.
then like they you don't get no pay or no.
Yeah. Can I at least get fed or something? Can I get,
Yeah,
can I
so
get a
like
McDonald's or something? Nope. Let's go. We're going home. Like,
So
all right.
like if somebody, look outside the window and see you out there and be like, oh,
Mhm.
he probably wants some juice. I mean, yeah, I want some juice.
I want something, a
I want
break
some,
or anything.
yeah, I want some juice or some cakes or something, like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then
Oh
you
yeah.
can't spend too much time eating it because you got to get back to
Right.
work. Because the grown ass men, they got to show that they don't eat all day, or
Yeah.
you got to be Superman.
Yeah. They can wait till 6 o'clock in the evening, not eat nothing all day long. Yeah. Man, I remember them days, man. Like,
Yeah,
y'all
so
crazy. I need something to eat.
it's a whole different game now. And so it's
Yeah, it
like,
is.
I think one of the things, especially for kids that age, is to make sure that you're still occupying a lot of their time at
Right.
around 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Right. Yeah.
Like make sure that they still have some requirements of you, that they feel like,
Yeah.
oh shit, dad got, all right, if I don't get this done, I can't,
Right.
that
Right.
kind of
That's
stuff. Yeah,
right.
even if that's their, because like sometimes a lot of parents are expecting children to understand stuff,
They don't.
like it's
Yeah.
like it boils back down to like instructions. Like, can they do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Right.
is it the type of thing that they're gonna pick up and learn something from if they keep doing it? And
Mm.
sometimes like like some of these lessons that you learn, like with your dad and your uncles and stuff, like some of them ain't even really start making sense to you like 30 something.
Dog. So I still be recalling stuff that I really conversations with uncles and my dad and things that I recall that I didn't get, and I even understand. It didn't even make sense until I was 38, 39 years old.
Right.
So yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like it's so funny too, especially with the men stuff. Like some of this stuff, like I'm just now, I don't even, it's like I skipped over it in my 20s. You know, I
Right.
didn't even remember it. So
Right.
the closer I get to 40, it's almost like, damn, I remember when Uncle so-and-so said this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Said that. Man. Like,
Right.
well, that's what,
Right.
what? How come I
Right.
ain't put two and two together before?
Hey man, that I think that's why it's called doing the work. Because
Yeah,
you don't be realizing what you know through your 20s is just a blur.
it's
And
a
then you get
blur.
to the point where you get to a point where you start understanding that you're gonna have to recall some of the stuff that you was taught and that foundation that you had as a kid. And when you can start matching the two, then you're doing the work. Then you can be like, okay, I see what I'm doing. I see what I was told, what I wasn't doing, what I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't
Yeah.
even weary of any of that stuff until I got to be a little older and start understanding, just cause and effect, man. Like things that I'm doing and how I'm living and how I'm moving. Like, nah, I got to straighten that up.
Yeah.
And then in the process, you see things straighten it up. Like, okay, I should have been moving like this all along. But sometimes it takes a while to understand that.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, no matter where you come from, good, bad, up or down, like there's some jewels in that upbringing. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
no matter how hard it was or whatever the case is, there's some jewels, but damn, some of them just don't click
They don't
for 20
register.
years, or 30
Yeah,
years, you
yeah,
know?
man.
And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and that has to do with us, like in our generation too. Like we still have buku distractions. The kids got it closer to their hand, but we were watching TV and all kind of
mm-hmm.
stuff too. Even though like
Right.
I didn't watch much TV, but I still
Mm-hmm.
wanted to. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it's
yeah,
like, we gotta we have a whole epiphany that we were learning ourselves is actually activating as we get older. That's why they say, man, like I used to be a part of some organizations and it was some old ass men that was in, I
yeah,
was in my 20s and they were like in there, everybody was like 60 and 70. So it was like a little organization, whatever the case is. And they used to regard like 35-year-old men as boys. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah.
40-year-old man, oh, you're just a boy. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
nothing. I was just like, what?
And you understand now.
Oh, yeah, I get it now, bro. I get
Yeah,
it now.
yeah,
I get it
yep,
now. Like when a 70-year-old man looks at a 40-year-old man and tells him that he ain't seen nothing yet. And then
yeah,
he actually looks and be like, well, you're right. Shit, like you 70 something years old, you've seen a whole lot more than I have,
yeah,
so like it's
yeah,
true. It's true. Like there's so much awakening to do for most men under 45, honestly. And it's like one of the stories I love to tell is like I just saw something on YouTube too. It was something about billionaires or millionaires or whatever who didn't
right,
make their fortunes until their 50s. You know
okay,
what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
it's like people think that it's an overnight thing.
no,
It just never is. It just never is. So it's just like when, especially some of these younger guys, even myself, just understanding that if my purpose unfolds, it doesn't necessarily mean that I get all the money that I wanted right now. Like,
right,
it doesn't mean that it reaches its peak
right,
right when I wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
absolutely
it
not,
may mature when I'm 50. It may mature when I'm
yeah,
55. Like because
yeah,
my father's 78 and he
right,
still moves around like a very young man and he's very, very optimistic. This man is not ready to die. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
man, that's definitely a blessing, man. I I lost my father actually October 1st, 4 years ago.
oh wow, I'm
So
sorry to hear.
I, yeah, it's cool. I appreciate it. But I still take a lot of his lessons to this day from myself to my son. And even though, it may have been maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe a few years prior to that I started coming into a particular understanding. But man, no lie, to this day, every day I'm still coming into an understanding of things. Like every single day, it seems like I understand things more and more as they kind of unfold in front of me. Like I have a different perspective on things. And like you said, man, it just takes a while. Sometimes that's why when I can get a older man around me, like you're saying, man, and he's speaking, man, and you can tell he's speaking from a wisdom space. Man, I look to them. I listen to them. I talk to them, man. It's just so much that you can get from them. And as a younger man, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I got a lot of that in my 20s. I was fortunate. A lot of
right.
And in my teenage years too, because my dad had me old. So
yeah,
old, which is 40, 41 is not that really old to have a child, but they consider that old when most people were having children in their 20s. And that's another thing that a lot of these younger guys like can learn as well too. Like having children at 40 is not old.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You might just have a better foundation to provide for stability at 40 than 25,
Yeah. You can kind of get through all that rough stuff you went through as, in your latter 20s and your mid 30s. You kind of skip all that.
Yeah.
Get to a different place. You know what I'm saying? So that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's just so much for us to learn. But it's a changing world, man. It's a changing world. It's a changing world. We're constantly under the pressure of whatever, you know what I'm saying, that we have to become. I be trying to get people to focus on freedom and this, that, and the next. And man, I get it. Freedom is important, but damn, when the bills is due, freedom don't seem that important.
It don't.
You know what I'm saying?
It don't seem that important, man.
Yeah.
You want to be able to kind of provide for your loved ones and the ones you love, man. And that's the I think that's the hard part of the situation. That's where the balance comes in, man.
Yeah.
What you suggested with my kids working with me, I think that's exactly where I need to go.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get something out of it. You'll discover something out of it as well too. You know, because they're already distracted. It's just like anything else. You most of the time we're too busy doing nothing to prepare ourselves for what we really, really want. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like they can be busy doing something different. It's just like you could probably, the more effective you become at your business and the more of a vision you have for it, the better you can say, hey, do this, do that. This is what I need you to do.
Right.
Let me explain it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, like my dad used to do a lot of remodeling. I don't know nothing by nothing, but I'm here working, pulling out somebody's kitchen. But how am I going to do it? I'm going to do it by doing whatever the hell he tells me to do. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't step on here or else you're going to fall through the foundation and we didn't get no insurance for you. Something like that. So just learning how to play one role. And it's something that I practice even with my young daughter now. It's just like, I just need to know you can follow instructions because whether it's from me or somebody else, somebody's going to provide some instruction and her ability to listen, that child's ability to listen and articulate and execute it is gonna separate them from those who get no instructions, no direction, because a lot of the times they're just being allowed to formulate and do whatever the hell they want to do. But involving them puts a little onus and responsibility on them, and you teach them as they go.
Absolutely, man. Right on, Nakada. I appreciate that, brother.
No problem, my brother. Always a pleasure talking to you and seeing you, bro.
You too, man. I'll get with you soon, man, about my kids' charts.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
Anybody else wanted to holler? If not, we're going to end the call off. You know what I'm saying? You could just unmute yourself if you had anything. Appreciate you guys who've been supporting me on the Cash App line. That's # I am Nakada or PayPal, heartonbreaker@gmail.com. Appreciate anything. Appreciate you, Kendrick, for the donations. Anybody else had anything? Lloyd, Maurice, any of you guys? Alcia, Tiffany. All right. Well, if not, guys, we're gonna call it off. Oh, got something to say? What's that? What's up, Alcia?
Hi. Just want to compliment you on the wonderful work you're doing. Your work is not only helping our men navigate the dating world and understanding self is also putting us women in check and letting us get the opportunity to look at ourselves and to make the changes that we need to be better women, wives, and mothers.
Absolutely. That's what's up. I'm glad that, I'm glad something comes out of it for the women because, it's not all the time that women can trust what men have to say to them. You know what I'm saying? Women sometimes have to take certain things with a grain of salt from a man and understand what's the purpose of it. So, anything that challenges us to be better to each other, you know what I'm saying? That's to me, it's such a big thing because sometimes we don't intentionally want to be like a lower version of ourselves. Sometimes it's just by habit that we've become these other people, and we need each other to challenge each other. Relationships are supposed to challenge you, but it's supposed to be other people in your life that come and say, hey, can this work for you? Can doing this way work for you? Can it make you happier? Can it make other people happier? Can you be more fulfilled with it? And when you find out that yes is the answer to that, then some of us, it's good when we can go towards it. No problem, K Dog. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for stopping by tonight, bro. Just stay focused on what you got to do, bro. Like I said, don't let them know what you're doing. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. But yeah, Alcia, I hope the work continues to help women in any way that it can. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, I'm not so concerned about all the women, concerned about my woman. That's all. In the sense that, men love to say what women need to do, but you need to just really base it around, who you're with and being able to work with that person as best as you possibly can, because everybody's different, and moving on to somebody else different requires so many different changes for most of us most of the time. So if you got somebody you can work with and can reflect back to you the growth that you need for your own life, you know what I mean, then you win it. Other than that, people move on all the time, but we're just trying to be better for ourselves first. So yeah, man, if we ain't got no more questions from you guys, family, I'm gonna let you go. Appreciate you guys as usual. And if you read the book, of course, leave a review of that on Amazon. Don't forget to cash out some love my way if you can. And anything else you got for me, just let me know. Heartonbreak.com for coaching, as well as heartonbreak.com for anything else, or heartonbreak@gmail for emails and questions. Appreciate you guys. And we're going to wrap it up right about now.